All right, hello everyone. Eric Marks here with FindingMiddleEarth.com, and today you can probably see it's really windy where I am. We have about 30-mile-an-hour winds right now. There's a big storm coming in. My hat's blowing all over the place. And this is the last day of my vacation, and fortunately this balcony that I'm on has actually been one of the best spots to catch the sunset, because the sun has been setting every single night right over my shoulder by the pier behind me. And I just wanted to kind of give you guys a quick explanation of what I've been doing all week on how to get some of the best shots and how I've been kind of setting everything up. So I brought 2 tripods on my trip. The reason I brought 2 tripods is because I knew that I was going to leave one set up for at least 2 or 3 days. And so what I did was I basically set up my tripod kind of right here where I'm standing. I just took it down yesterday because a lot of clouds and storms have started to come in, like the one that's coming in right now. So since I'm done shooting, that's why I'm recording this video, so I can get the tripod and everything out of the way. But most of the week I've had a tripod sitting here in the exact same spot all week, okay? And the reason why is because I've been shooting the same composition and the same photo every single week or every single night when the sun sets, because each night has different characteristics. The lighting is different, the sun is different, the colors are different, the water is different. It seems like since I've been here, the water's been getting kind of more colorful and more clear every day. And so I've just made sure that my zoom on my lens is the exact same millimeter of zoom, the exact same settings, aperture, bracketing, ISO, everything. And so I'm basically going to blend time together when I get back home in post-production. And it's essentially going to line up almost perfect. I'm sure there's going to be some movement, you know, maybe a little millimeter of movement here and there in the composition, but that's really easy to fix in Photoshop, especially since there's a very, you know, defined horizon line behind me. It's easy to just mask some stuff in over the horizon line and kind of create my own over that. But the reason why I've left one tripod set up here all week is because I've been shooting different bits of the scene. So for example, on the nights that the clouds are really heavy, there's a lot of clouds coming in, those are the nights that you're typically going to get the best sunset. Now why is that? Because when sun hits clouds and it starts reflecting off the clouds, that's when you get a lot of really nice color. But when I'm wanting to shoot the Milky Way and the stars in the sky, I don't want any clouds, and I don't want a moon right over my head. I want it to be a moonless night, and I want no clouds so that I can see the stars clearly. So I think hopefully you're starting to catch on as to why I'm shooting different nights for different portions of the scene, because essentially I'm wanting to mix in really nice clear water, I want to mix in really good color of the sunset, and I want to mix in the stars in the sky. So I want to kind of build my image, okay? But it's going to take, like I said, it took, you know, a few separate nights of capturing these kind of images. So that's why I left one of my tripods set up at the same spot the whole time. And then I just kept coming back. So the reason why I have the X-T1 around my neck right now, this is the Fujifilm X-T1 with the 10-24 lens. So all week I've been shooting the sunset and pretty much everything with the Fujifilm X-T2. But when it came time to do the astrophotography portion, and there was a moonless night, actually last night, there was not one cloud in the sky, and it was completely moonless. It was perfect for stars, and I think I got some really good shots. So I chose to do the astrophotography portion with the X-T1. Why? By the way, yes, you can mix images from the X-T1 and the X-T2 together and Frankenstein them into an exposure blend. You can do that with anything. I could take a 36 megapixel RAW file of the D810 and blend it in with a Fujifilm X-T2 file, as long as I made it look realistic. So the reason why I chose the X-T1 is because it's 16 megapixels, okay? It's less megapixels than the X-T2, which is 24, and they are bigger pixels on the sensor. So when you get bigger pixels, the low light capability, and especially shooting long exposures at night in the sky, it kind of melds together the low light and the night scenes a little nicer and smoother than the X-T2, which, and it's not that it does a better job, it's more so the fact that the X-T2 and like the Nikon D810 are just going to render more detail, okay? It really is truly going to be more detail because it's higher resolution. But with the detail, it's also going to be a little more noise. And not that it can't be fixed in Photoshop. I simply just wanted to experiment because I love the way the X-T1 renders stars, astrophotography. These big pixels remind me of my the Nikon D8 IV, for example, or the D4, not D8 IV, the D4. Okay, if I'm shooting low light, I'm always going to use the Nikon D4 instead of the D810 because the D4 has 16 megapixels and it has those really big pixels on the sensor, so that they just kind of meld together easier with low light and they don't show fine noise, at least as much as something like the D810. So I've been shooting astrophotography with this, the 16 megapixels, and it's been working out great because it shows very, very little noise. And I've been shooting this at, I actually shot it with the 16 to 55 2.8 lens, all right? So I was shooting at 2.8, the ISO was on 1600, and I was doing 30-second long exposures. And that combination was giving me fantastic shots. And then I was also using the 16 to 55 2.8 with the Fujifilm X-T2, all right, shooting the sunsets all week. And I was shooting those at about f8, f11, and I was experimenting with circular polarizers and stacking ND filters to give me, 2-minute and 3-minute long exposures to blend in the water. And I just wanted to make this video to kind of explain my process because I'm going home tomorrow and I won't have this scene behind me to show you. So essentially, I've been shooting from right here, like 3 or 4 days in a row. And I've shot, a couple of nights just for the water. I shot, like I said, last night was just for the stars, but it was in the same tripod, same composition, so that it's super easy to just mask in the stars right over the previous shots, because everything was shot at the same focal length, the same settings, the same composition, or not the same settings, but the same composition. And when you do that, it just makes it a super easy exposure blend back in Photoshop. So if you're ever interested in how I get some of the crazy looking, exposure blends I get, and sometimes a lot of people say, do you really have to go back to the same location, or do you stay in one spot for 5 or 6 hours? Sometimes you have to do that, and it really pays off when you start post-processing the image. So for example, I've shot this exact same spot 3 or 4 days in a row, and some days have just been for the water, just for the stars, just for the color, but I think it's going to really pay off. So yeah, I'm mixing X-T1 files for the astrophotography and the X-T2 raw files, and I'm gonna just paint them all together with my Wacom tablet. And who knows, if these clouds get really fierce, I might set up a new composition and capture some of these crazy clouds that are coming in. Apparently we're gonna have some really bad thunderstorms this evening. Hopefully they'll go away before we have to drive home tomorrow. I have about a 5.5 hour drive to get home. But yeah, I just wanted to just quickly explain kind of my process for the week, because I know in about a week or so you'll probably see the image go live on my Facebook and my blog, and I know a lot of people are probably going to ask how I blended everything together. So that's how I set up the shooting portion of it. And as far as the blending portion, I'll probably tack that onto my landscape photography exposure blending course. It's going to be releasing in just a few weeks. So yeah, if you guys have any questions at all, leave them in the comments. Any other questions about the Fuji stuff or whatever, or filters? I know I've gotten a lot of filter questions this week. I promise all those videos are coming soon. I have a whole filter kit on the way to my house from the United Kingdom. It's just taking a while to get here. And other than that, those are all coming up soon. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.
If you would like to stay up to date on all of my photography videos and free tutorials, please consider subscribing by clicking on my face. And if you would like to find out more about me and how to improve your photography, visit my website at findingmiddleearth.com.